Putin thought he had everything. The fleet, the bases, those shiny caliber missiles. A top-tier air defense shield and a 10-year plan to own the Black Sea. Meanwhile, Ukraine basically had 0 ships left. He knew the odds and figured he could just choke them out from the water. The plan was simple. Kill the grain exports, kill the entire economy. Then just rain missiles on the coast until they finally gave up. At first, things were actually going according to his script. The Russian Navy just cruised around, hitting the coast whenever they felt like it. They blocked the grain and kept everyone guessing about a massive sea landing. Then the wheels fell off, and they stayed off. The undisputed masters of the sea were suddenly stuck in a very embarrassing retreat. That supposedly invincible fleet is now packing its bags and ditching Crimea, piece by piece. They are running back to their own shores to escape the constant attacks. They started this mess with over 80 ships and support vessels, actually ruling the waves. By April 2026, nearly 30% of that fleet was gone. But the real kicker isn't just the losses, it's how desperate they've actually become lately. These ships can't even play in the open water anymore. Even that legendary 240-year-old base in Sevastopol isn't safe now. It is basically just a high-stakes hunting ground for Ukrainian sea drones. They hid in Novorossiysk, but honestly, even that place is a total gamble now. The whole fleet is currently pinned between Crimea and the Sea of Azov. Every single port is turned into a death trap. And the last few weeks, easily the most disastrous part of this whole campaign. On the night of April 18th and 19th, a special unit snuck into the Gulf of Sevastopol. They were hunting 2 big landing ships, the Yamal and the Nikolai Filchenkov. These boats are the actual backbone of Russia's power in the Black Sea. We are talking over $150 million worth of hardware here. Kamikaze drones went straight for the bridges of the Yamal and the Filchenkov. That wasn't luck. Ukraine follows a very specific rule in this war. Hit the most expensive part that's impossible to replace quickly. When they hit air defenses, they go for radars, not the launchers. Because without radar, that fancy S-400 is just a blind weapon. Same logic for the ships, too. Poking a hole is fine, but wrecking the bridge kills the ship forever. All the tech, the radars, and the controls are sitting right there. You can see the hits on video, and Intel already confirmed the damage. Both ships are totally done, but the real story in Sevastopol was even bigger. They didn't just hit boats, they tore the entire defense network apart. In just one night, the fleet's whole protection bubble just evaporated. Coastal radars? Total junk now. They even cut the lines that let units talk. Patrol boats got hit, and the fuel depot in Kazachia Bay went up in flames. Think about what this means for the Russian Navy. No radar means you're blind. No comms means you can't work together. And without patrol boats, your front door is standing wide open. If your fuel is burning, nothing is going to move. Anyway, Ukraine just wiped out all those targets in one go. OSINT analysis confirms 5 Russian ships were hit in Sevastopol over those 3 days. The Yamal, Filchenkov, the Azov, the Konstantin Olshansky, and the intelligence ship Slavutich. Observer Alexander Kovalenko sums up the disaster. These ships are basically museum exhibits now, floating rust. He is right. It is not just the damage. They cannot fix it. Can Russia actually build new ships to replace these heavy losses? Short answer, no. This no is the sound of a total structural collapse. The Yamal and Filchenkov are relics from the old Soviet era. Mass production of these ships stopped decades ago. These things are relics from the 1970s and 80s. Back then, the Soviet Union had massive shipyards, an unlimited labor force, and a planned economy. Today's Russia is a far cry from that old capacity. Soviet yards launched dozens of ships a year. Now, they struggle for years on one single frigate. From the Baltic to the Pacific, across all their major fleets. These 50-year-old Soviet-era ships are forced to bear the brunt of all cargo and passenger transport. And these ships are vanishing, one by one. Their only new project is the Ivan Gren-class landing ship. But Kovalenko calls this new project a complete failure. Construction started in 2004, but it did not enter service until 2018. 14 years. Imagine taking 14 years for just one ship. The second ship, the Pyotr Morgunov, was just as slow. Replacing the old fleet at this pace would take several decades. Ukraine is not giving them time. After all, building a new ship takes 5 to 7 years. Meanwhile, those shipyards are sitting ducks for Ukrainian drone strikes. The Askold corvette got hit before it even started working. Even the shipyards are unsafe. Ukraine is sinking the current fleet and the fleet of the future. Then there is the Montreux Convention. This is the most critical restriction of all. People ignore it, but the consequences are absolutely massive. This rule has been in effect since 1936. It strictly limits which warships can pass through the Turkish Straits. Russia cannot move large warships from the Baltic to the Black Sea. No reinforcements from the Northern Fleet. No withdrawing ships from the Pacific. Every ship lost in the Black Sea is gone for good. You cannot borrow or transfer ships from other fleets anymore. Whatever is in the Black Sea is all they have left. Just look at the vicious cycle this creates. Fewer ships means a much greater operational burden on the remaining ones. Patrolling the same area with less hardware means longer, exhausting patrols. That means less maintenance and a lot more fatigue. Tired ships break down, and a broken or slow ship is an easy target for drones. Every loss just makes the next one easier. A death spiral. Repairs are just as hopeless as replacement. Their bridge radar and controls? Way beyond what Russia can actually build now. Back in the Soviet days, a central plan kept these systems rolling out. Now those factories are either shuttered or stuck in Ukraine thanks to sanctions. Western microchips? Forget it. They are completely cut off. China offers parts, but the quality and fit are a total mess. Cramming Chinese tech into 50-year-old Soviet hulls is a literal nightmare. Even the shipyards where they might actually fix this junk are sitting right on Ukraine's hit list. The docks in Sevastopol? Yeah, they already got smoked. Novorossiysk is packed. They can't find a safe spot to patch up a single boat. Like Kovalenko says, these ships might be able to float, but they are useless for actual combat missions now. Look at the Moskva. $750 million of flagship, now a reef. Russia couldn't even fix the thing during 4 years of peace. No ships, no cash, and no dry docks left to replace it. Since the Moskva went down, not one big ship has joined the fleet. The longer this drags on, the lower their chances of rebuilding get. It is only a matter of time before those last few landing ships meet the same end. They are raiding Soviet leftovers now, and the pantry is looking pretty empty. Let's be real. Russia is stuck in a massive strategic deadlock on the water. They can't replace the losses, and they can't fix the wrecks. They can't protect what's left. Since they can't bring in reinforcements through the straits, there is absolutely no way out. This total collapse has flipped the power balance in the Black Sea overnight. Kovalenko sounds harsh, but you and I can see the data adds up. Ukraine has full control of the Black Sea now. A country with virtually no navy is in charge. That's because they stopped playing by the old rules of naval combat. Instead of building fancy ships, they are just focused on making things go boom. They are not trying to rule the waves, they are just making sure. Russia can't use them. Drones, missiles, mines, and spec ops are the key. It is all one big, constantly evolving strategy that keeps getting meaner. They polish the plan a little more with every single hit. That recent strike in Crimea? That was a masterclass in this new warfare. They didn't just hit ships. They jammed the radar and blinded everyone. Killed the comms and killed the coordination. Then they blew the fuel to stop everything. Each move fed the next. Every boom made the next one easier. These aren't just random attacks anymore. They are a campaign rewriting the rules of naval warfare. On a geopolitical level, this Russian collapse is permanently shifting the balance of the entire region. Russia used to treat this sea like their private backyard pond. They once used it to bully the Mediterranean and the Suez Canal, but that whole doctrine is over. Now they can't even go for a casual sail. The fleet's slow death has totally nuked their influence. NATO's southern side is finally breathing easy. Romania and Bulgaria aren't losing sleep over their coastlines anymore. Turkey is finally off the hook. Russian pressure on the straits? It is gone. Ukraine's export routes are solid because the Russian fleet is effectively paralyzed now. Those Black Sea warships cannot even find a commercial vessel, let alone threaten one anymore. But the real disaster for them is unfolding in Crimea and the land front. Losing those massive landing ships killed the supply line. No more tanks or ammo arriving by sea. These ships were not just floating hunks of metal. They were the only thing keeping Crimea and the southern front fed with supplies. Just one landing ship used to haul dozens of armored vehicles and soldiers. We are talking hundreds of tons of ammo in a single trip, all gone. That transport capacity? It is currently sitting at a grand total of 0. This is not just about losing ships. It means the entire logistical backbone of the front is finally snapping. Now they are stuck relying on the Kerch Bridge and a single highway. Good luck. The bridge keeps shutting down every time a drone sneezes. It is barely even functional. The railway ferries are scrap metal, and land transport via the highway is difficult. Plus, that road through Donbass is a long drive and stays within HIMARS range. Crimea is being squeezed into isolation by sea and by land. This is exactly what General Hodges predicted. He has been calling this play for months. Cut off the peninsula, make it impossible to defend, and watch it fall to Ukraine. It is not a theory anymore. You and I are watching this strategy play out. As the fleet sinks, the Russian presence in Crimea is becoming a total logistical nightmare. That military fortress idea is falling apart. It is more like a trap now. That legendary 240-year-old naval base? Sevastopol is basically a target range for cheap Ukrainian drones. How embarrassing for a superpower. The troops on the Kherson and Zaporizhia fronts are really feeling this collapse right now. If you cannot ship ammo by sea, you have to drive it, and that is slow. Land transport is slow, incredibly expensive, and way too easy to blow up on road. The supply line at the front is thinning out fast, looking pretty grim. Less ammo means less fighting power. Russian troops are basically running on fumes. Putin's "Crimea is ours" rhetoric is meeting a harsh reality. It is empty noise. You cannot claim land if you cannot defend it, supply it, or even reach it. Every day the isolation gets worse. The situation is becoming completely meaningless for Moscow. For arms exports, this picture is a total nightmare for the Russian military industry. Who would buy a navy from a country that is currently melting away in the sea? They cannot even protect their S-400 systems from cheap drones sinking their ships. Russia's global arms sales were already tanking. This just adds a little extra speed. Every ship that sinks just accelerates their global decline in the arms market. But the biggest shift is how we think about war now. Ukraine proved you do not even need a navy to win a battle at sea. They just understood the battlefield better than the opponent. It is a total game changer. We are seeing a transformation that is throwing every rule of naval warfare away. Navies everywhere are scrambling to study this data. They know the old ways are dead. The future of naval combat is being written right now in the Black Sea. Billion-dollar destroyers and aircraft carriers are starting to look like massive sitting ducks. Even assault ships are defenseless against a swarm of cheap, unmanned systems and drones. Command centers and ports are now the weakest links. The giant is dead. Watching Russia cling to Soviet relics as they crumble is the ultimate facepalm. That fleet is basically a floating antique shop now. Like Kovalenko noted, you and I are watching a lesson meant for China and India too. Basically, anyone from Iran to North Korea trying to use old-school naval tactics is toast. The Black Sea is a lab for future war, and the results are brutal. For Russia, every single angle of this looks like a total disaster. Their fleet is shrinking, and there is no backup coming. Crimea is stranded. Their grip on the Black Sea is just gone. Supply lines are getting thinner and sadder every single month. Meanwhile, Ukraine's underdog tactics are getting scarier and more efficient with every hit. Economically, the whole country is just drowning. Every ship that sinks is literally hundreds of millions of dollars down the drain. The Yamal cost 80 million, the Filchenkov 70 million. Ouch. The Moskva alone was $750 million. Total fleet losses have easily blown past billions of dollars now. The repair bills are getting insane. Sanctions mean no parts, fuel depots are on fire, and everything is a mess. Logistics are failing, and the ground war is hitting a wall. Russian oil cash spiked briefly because of the chaos in Iran. Urals crude even climbed past $100 a barrel recently. But Ukrainian drones keep hitting energy plants, so they cannot even enjoy that extra money. With 20% of exports gone, they are missing out on all those big oil paydays. The war economy is getting hammered, and the Navy is taking the hardest hits. Losing ships is by far the most expensive part of this whole collapse. Kovalenko really hit the nail on the head. Russia lost the Black Sea, and they are never, ever getting it back. Sound like an exaggeration? Just look at the 4-year campaign from the sinking of the Moskva to the end of the Yamal. The picture is clear. A nation without a navy managed to wreck a third of a superpower's fleet. And they are not done. Talk about a bitter irony. Putin invaded to stop NATO. Look how well that's going. Instead, he threw away over 240 years of Russian naval dominance in the Black Sea. Crimea is a sitting duck, and Ukraine is schooling the world on the future of naval war. As smoke rises over Sevastopol Bay, Putin's dream of ruling the Black Sea is going up in flames right with it. That legend is officially dead. So, what do you and I think about this? Drop a comment and stick with us for more deep dives from TGN. Subscribe to the channel and make sure to hit that notification bell. Check us out on Spotify to kill time during your morning commute. Thanks for watching today.